Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Gresti Fina Ramadhan. Now I would like to explain about materials of Introduction to Linguistics. Okay, this is the topic of Introduction to Linguistics. Language and Linguistics, classification of linguistics, development of English, structure of English, historical of systemic functional linguistics, psycholinguistics, morphology, semantic, English syntax, and sociolinguistics. The first is about language and linguistics. A language is a structured system of communication used by humans based on speech and gestures or spoken language. Sign or often writing, the structure of language is its grammar and the free component are its vocabulary. Linguistics is the scientific study of language. Linguists apply the scientific method to conduct formal study of speech sound and gestures, grammatical structures, and meaning across the world's more 6,000 languages. The second is about classification of linguistics or macro and microlinguistics. Microlinguistics is a branch of linguistics that focuses on the content of the internal system of language. The existing interdisciplinary section of microlinguistic studies are phonology, morphology, semantic, and synthesis. In contrast to microlinguistics, macrolinguistics examines the relationship of language at the level of the external world, whether related to nature, society, or scientific discipline. Therefore, the study of macrolinguistics is broad and external. Macrolinguistics examines language activities in other fields, such as economics and history. Language is used as a tool to see language from the point of view from outside the language. The field of macrolinguistics include, among others, sociolinguistics, psycholinguistics, anthropology, ethnolinguistics, stylist, philology, dialectology, philosophy of language, and neurolinguistics. The third is about development of English. English has been spoken in England since around 1450. To be more precise, a set of varieties of West Germanic have been spoken. The three main groups were Anglo-Saxon and Jutes. By and large, the Angles settled in the middle and north of England, the Saxon in the south, and the Jutes in the area of present-day Kent. After the Anglo-Saxon invasion, there was little awareness of England, let alone of English. English is spoken as the first language by the majority of people in various countries. The development of the English language was divided into three parts: Old English, Middle English, and Modern English. One of the benefits of learning and mastering English has been that it makes it easier to find work, since English is the common use of a company. The fourth is about structure of English. There are 5 structures of English. The first is prefix. Prefix is a word part added at the beginning of a word. When a prefix is added to a word, it changes the meaning of the word. It creates a new word. For the example, ill and legal, so it can be illegal. The second is suffix. Suffix is a word added at the end of a word. Like a prefix, the suffix changes the meaning of a word. For the examples, chill and is, childish. Synonym. Synonyms are words that are similar in meaning. For the example, smart, clever. Antonyms. Antonyms are words that are opposite in meaning. For the examples, smart, stupid. And the last is homonyms. Homonyms are words that sound alike but have different meaning and spelling. Example, new and name. The fifth is about historical of systemic functional linguistics. SVL is one of the main functional theory of language developed in 20th centuries, and it continues to evolve in this century. It is a social theory of language developed by Michael Holliday. According to systemic functional linguistics, the approach of language teaching consists of two grammars. There are systemic grammar and functional grammar. In systemic grammar, language is a part of a system of society. We cannot separate between language and society. Then, functional grammar is how to use language for metafunction. Meaning of language is the meaning of one thing, can mean everything or nothing. Systemic functional linguistics talk about context. So, language means text. Every language appears is registered. The contribution of SVL is GBA that used in teaching or procedure, recon, narrative, and others. The sixth is about psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics is a branch of study which combines the discipline of psychology and linguistics. It is concerned with the relationship between the human mind and the language, as it examines the process that occur in brain while producing and preserving both written and spoken discourse. Three primary process investigated psycholinguistics. The first is language comprehension. Understanding what other people say and write is more complicated than it might at first appear. The second is language production. Language production is the production of spoken or written language. It describes all of the stage between having a concept and translating that concept into linguistic form. The last is language acquisition. Language acquisition is the process by which humans acquire the capacity to perceive and comprehend language as well as to produce and use words and sentences to communicate. The second is about morphology. Etymologically, morph is form or shape. Ology is study of. Morphology is the study of the basic building block of meaning in language. These building blocks, called morphemes, are the smallest unit of form that bear meaning or have grammatical function. So, morphology is the study of word formation in a particular language. It focuses especially on the internal structure of the word and their alteration through the addition of prefix and suffix. There are kinds of morphology, namely inflection and derivational. Morpheme is a short segment of language that meets criteria. A. It is a word or a part of word that has meaning. B. It cannot be divided into small meaningful parts without violation of meaning or without meaningless remainders. C. It recurs in different verbal environments with relatively stable meanings. The eighth is about semantics. Semantics is the study of the meaning of words and sentences. At its simplest, it concerns with the relation of linguistic form to non-linguistic concept and mental relationship in order to explain how sentences are understood by the speaker of language. And there are types of semantics, that is, behaviorist semantics, descriptive semantic, generic semantic, grammatical semantic, lexical semantic, historical semantic, semantic of logic, and structural semantic. And also, there are kinds of meanings: referential and non-referential meaning, denotative and cumulative meaning, the meaning of word and the meaning of terms, conceptual meaning and an associative meaning, meaning of idiomatis and aphorism, and primary meaning. And also, there are relationship of meaning can take various forms. The following describe some form of meaning relation. synonym, antonym, and opposition, homonyms, homophone and homograms, hyponyms and hypernyms, and polysemy. The NIN is about English syntax. Syntax is a branch of linguistics that studies the rules that govern the formation of sentences. Word-level categories. Words can be grouped together into a relatively small number of classes called syntactic categories, which can generally substitute for one another without loss of grammaticality. Word-level categories are divided into lexical word or open class word and functional word or closed class word. Example of syntactic categories: lexical categories, noun, verb, adjective, adverb. Functional categories: determiner, degree word, qualifier, auxiliary, and conjunction. The 10th is about sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is a term including the aspect of linguistics applied toward the connection between language and society, and the way we use it in different social situations. Language is the human ability to acquire and use complex systems of communication, and a language is any specific example of such a system. Then, dialect is a variety of a language that is distinguished from other varieties of the same language by features of phonology, grammar, vocabulary, and by its use by a group of speakers who are set off from others geographically or socially. Certain difference from geographical area one to another in pronunciation, in the selecting and constructing of words, and in syntax of a language, such as distinctive varieties of local variety are called regional dialects. Social dialect is different speech associated with various social groups. Social dialects create among social groups and are related to a variety of factors such as social class, religion, and ethnicity. Style relates to the typical ways in which one or more people do a particular thing. Style in language behavior thus become alternative way of expressing the same content. Register refer to particular ways of using language in particular setting within that community. Register is a set of linguistic items were associated with discrete occupational and social groups. Belief is system or ideas or ideology. Some people believe that certain language is lack of grammar. We can speak English without accent. Okay, that is my explanation. I'm sorry if there are many mistakes. The last I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.